Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo. We've got a bit more XR311 this week. I've not been able to film much, if at all, but I have been working away at the lights. We've already seen the LEDs in place during the build. They're all your usual 3mm, 8mm and straw hats with two legs, anode and cathode. Nothing unusual at all. At the front we've got 6 LEDs wired up to 4 channels. Side lights, headlights and left and right indicators. Each LED has its own 8 watt 220 ohm resistor. For the white LEDs we're pushing our luck a little, a quarter watt would be better, but they're all out in the open so I'm not all that worried. There's still a bit of tidying up to do and a quick coat of black paint to hide them from the casual observer, but it's completely functional. The wiring works its way along the driver's side to avoid the steering servo linkage, between the driver's feet and down into the sill. You can just about see it down there, there's just enough space for the 4 pairs. At the back they run up into the engine cover where they terminate at the 16-way connector, 1 power and 1 ground per channel. The rear lights are the same, just a bit less wire, they run straight into the connector. At the other end of the controller board we've got the radio connections. The plan is to run them like the front wires so they pop out into the radio tray in the chassis. But the short cables I sell the board with are a bit short. I've got some longer ones on order, but the postman hasn't handed them over yet, but I'm sure you get the idea. Once the board is stuck in with some servo tape, it should all be quite neat and tidy. For now, we'll just plug them in with the body beside the chassis. The light controller has quite a few ways it can be connected up and used. We've got a FlySky GT3B with modified firmware and a 6-channel receiver, so we can go the whole hog and control everything independently. The first channel on the board controls the indicators. On a 2 or 3 channel radio you would connect it to the steering, but we can use a separate channel and use one of the switches on the transmitter. Second is the throttle. Normally you would connect it to channel 2 on the receiver, then connect the ESC to the piggyback connector on the controller board. But with the GT3B we can use the dig mixer to in effect output the throttle on channel 2 and channel 4, which makes the wiring that bit simpler. The third controls the lighting mode, side lights, headlights and all that good stuff. I'm going to pop some front buggy wheels under the chassis to keep the tyres off the ground to avoid a runaway, and so the steering servo can actually turn the front wheels without the servo saver absorbing all the movement. The transmitter's on, so we can turn on the ESC. It'll arm itself just like normal. The light controller will be flashing one of its onboard LEDs while it waits to figure out which way's forward. Well, now it's armed, so we can control the lights on one of the rockers on the radio. The side lights do their little light covers, so people don't see the glare from the side giving away our position. The main headlights, which are nice and bright. The other rocker controls the indicators, completely separately from the steering, which is nice. At the back we've got the red lights. It's set up to work best with a drag brake type ESC, so when the throttle is in neutral the brake lights are on. When we move forward they dim to regular tail lights. In reverse they dim and the reverse lights come on. Of course if the headlights aren't turned on they're going to turn off instead of dimming. I've got this one set up in USA output mode, so when we use the indicators, blinkers, the brake lights flash. I've got no idea if that's correct for an XR311, but it seemed appropriate. Well, that's about all I can do this week. You can blame the postman for not prioritising the jiffy bag with my servo leads in. Does mean that next week we might just be able to do a bit of a run in the woods though. We've not done that for ages. Anyway, thanks for watching, like if you liked, and if you don't want to miss the next video, don't forget to subscribe. Bye guys!